Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome everybody to Community Crossfire. My name is Jack Booker, and I'll be hosting Community Crossfire tonight. Before I do anything, I have to say Happy Mother's Day to everyone, to all the grandmothers, to all the mothers, to all the great-grandmothers. Happy Mother's Day. Tonight, we have 4 guests here, and we're going to share a lot of information as it relates to what's going on in the city of Wilmington. And right here to my right, I have Amanda Cole, and we are going to be working together, collaborating together, partnership together to do a summer enrichment program. And I'm gonna have Amanda to just talk a little bit about the program as it relates to registering, what it costs, the quality of the programs, the activities, and so on. So Amanda, could you...
Good evening. My name is Amanda Cole, as he stated. I'm the camp director at the Neighborhood House Summer Enrichment Program, and we will be collaborating with Our Youth Inc. this year. The program is an enrichment program, which means that not only are the kids going to be receiving academic enrichment in terms of math, reading, things of that nature, but they're also going to be going on field trips, having fun. You know, we want the kids to still enjoy their summer, even though they're in a structured program. The cost of that program is going to be $120 a week, but that $120 covers a lot. We do accept purchase of care, but for those families that don't accept purchase of care, you know, we can set up some things to accommodate payment schedules. That $120 does cover all of the trips that we go on. So once a week, every Tuesday, the kids swim at the Walnut Street YMCA. They receive swim lessons. We go to places such as the Franklin Institute, Killings Pond, the zoo in Washington, D.C. We also go to Rehoboth Beach. That's our very last trip at the end of the summer. And that $120 covers all of those trips. So I hope it's not sticker shock to some of you. Please know that your children will be receiving a quality service from quality staff. A lot of our staff members are teachers. They have experience with working with children. I myself am a classroom teacher, and we have other classroom teachers on staff as well.
One of the things I want to add to that, this year we will have transportation available. Mm-hmm. We will be picking up and dropping off, and that will be an extra fee, but it will be affordable, and again, we will work with the parents. One thing that I wanted to share with everyone is just getting to know Amanda, I guess over the last 4 weeks or so. With her camp experience and my 30 years of camp experience, I think the parents can feel comfortable about having their kids in a safe, structured, fun environment. So when you talk about all those years of camp experience, I think that your kids will have a beautiful experience this summer at the Summer Enrichment Program. Amanda, is there any kind of like protocol that we would like the parents to do as it relates to picking their kids up, dropping their kids off, as it relates what they need to bring, as far as is there a number they can call, and also about registration?
We do have registration packets that are kind of scattered throughout the city. Some of them are not yet, but will be in the Wilmington schools. Like he said, we are offering transportation, so we will accept children outside of the Wilmington area. The numbers that you can call would be 652-3928, and that is the number at the Neighborhood House. Again, that number is 652-3928, or you can call 302-290-4574. That is my direct line. Again, that number is 302-290-4574. Any questions you may have could be answered by calling either one of those numbers, and we will be able to tell you where you can find a packet, an application for your child or your children, or we can find one and get one to you however we need to.
And also, there's another number we want to add is at Our Youth Inc., and that's area code 302-655-8250. Again, area code 302-655-8250 if you can get in touch with Amanda. I'm excited to be working with the Neighborhood House and Our Youth Inc. Because we're right basically across the street. And I think for programs to be successful, I think when you do collaboration and partnership, there's more resources out there that we can come together as one, that the kids will really have a great experience. So don't hesitate to call. We're looking forward to seeing the kids and the parents. Please call us, and we are available to answer any and every question. Is there anything else that you want to add, Amanda?
We didn't mention the ages of the children.
Okay.
So we'll be accepting children from the ages of 5 and 12. Camp starts at 7:30 and it goes until 5:30, which is an extended day. In the past, before I was the camp director, that 3:30 to 5:30 time was actually aftercare, which was an additional fee. But we've included it all in the same day now to accommodate parents that are working and need to get off work and come pick their kids up. So that 7:30 to 5:30 is the entire camp day, and all of that is covered in the $120 per week. The kids will receive breakfast if they arrive before 8 a.m., and they will receive lunch. They also receive a snack at the end of the day. Again, all of that is included.
Okay, and it's going to be fun. So we want to see your face in the place. Thank you. If we don't have anything else, we're just going to take a quick break and get back. Thank you. Welcome back. Again, I want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. To my right, my second guest is a good friend of mine, my fraternity brother, Robert Oliver. He's here to talk about the Monday Club, and while we was on break, he was telling me how to run the show, and I told Rob I was the host, so I get the opportunity to ask any questions I want. But before I do that, Rob, go ahead and share with us what you want to share with the audience as it relates to the Monday Club.
Well, Jack, first let me thank you for allowing me to come on. I'm not even going to feed into your first statement at all. I just really want to get right to it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Monday Club has been around since 1876, been incorporated in the state of Delaware since 1893. We have our annual ball every year down at the Chase Center, and this year we'll be down there June the 15th. I call it an adult prom. Ladies, put your gowns on, gentlemen, put your tux on, and come on out and have a good time. It is a fundraiser. We give out scholarships to high school seniors that are going on to college. One number in the name of the late Herman Holloway, Senator Herman Holloway Sr., Honorable James Seals, and Honorable Dr. Woodrow Wilson are these youngsters will receive recipients and are the recipients in their name. We hope you will just come out and support that. This is, again, our major fundraiser to help us do things in the community throughout the year. And we just look forward to going down there. We like to have about 500 folks down there, black tie, and we have a good old time, and it's for a great cause. We'll start at 6 o'clock, end at 1, again, down at the Chase Center on June 15th. So mark that date down. We'd like for you to come out and enjoy the festivities with us. I guarantee you, you will have a very good time. If you need more information on that, you can contact the Monday Club at 652-9755, and we can get you a ticket to be in that place.
Thanks, Rob, but I want you to talk a little bit more about the Monday Club, because I truly understand the impact that it has in the community as the Monday Club members go out into the community and help as it relates to education, as it relates to other social events, and as it relates to after-school programs, schools adopting the Monday Club. Can you just share with the audience about the membership and how can you get involved? Because I think that's very important also.
Well, one of the things, you know, the Monday Club is open to all. Everyone has that opportunity to come in. It's just not for, you know, it's this thing that was it's some kind of elitist group. We have guys in there from every field of human endeavor, and we encourage guys from at least 21 and up to come join our organization. We have what we call a young guys membership is from 21 to 35, and these guys are still just getting their feet wet in their community, so we don't charge them the full membership fee. But one of the things we like to do, I mean, we adopt families at Christmas time and give gifts out. I'm a big baseball guy, so we have what we call the Wilmington Baseball League, which is girls and boys from 5 through 16. They play over by a Warner where I work at, but they come out and learn the game of baseball because we don't have enough kids, minorities
in
the city in the
right.
baseball. That's one big push they're trying to do back here. We also do the girls basketball team that Ed Smith kind of have a traveling team that takes and give these young ladies exposure to some of these college coaches on basketball, back here in the city. So it's a great effort that we do with that. We do mentoring with the young folks there, whether it's kids we're doing something with at the Powell Center or even Hicks Anderson, or making donations to even Walnut Street Y for a program that they have there. So we try to stay very active in the community, but we just continue to try to recruit guys to come in. Like I said, they from every field of human endeavor.
Well, I'm glad you shared that, Rob, because I didn't want people to think that the Monday Club is just a club where folks can just come in and fellowship and socialize. That the Monday Club is doing a lot of good work in the community.
Well,
and so I'm glad you shared that. But one thing I do want you to elaborate a little bit on, though, is the scholarship, because my daughter just graduated. Jelena Booker just graduated from APO. Looked beautiful on her Saturday night prom. But the education is so important, and that's something we're going to talk a little bit about in the show later on.
Yes.
But if you can just elaborate on the scholarship and how that works.
We do this year. We'll do 4 scholarships.
Okay.
One of the recipients will be a Delaware State recipient.
Okay.
That's a youngster that is going to Delaware State.
Okay.
But the other 3 are in the person's names that I mentioned beforehand, and they can use that scholarship in any college in the country.
Okay.
But we've been giving that out. I've been in the club since 2002 when I first chaired the ball, and I'm chairing it again this year. We've given out those 4 scholarships every year.
Okay.
And it's great to hear those youngsters, girls and boys, that's graduated, that sent back to us and said, hey, they're moving to the next phase in their life, and they thank us for that initial offering that we gave them when they got started. So that's just, it just gives me chills when you think about what they're doing now. And over the years, and like I said, I've been doing this since 2002. Okay. And we're going to keep doing it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just there. And the parents if you have that scholarship this year, the deadline is this week to get that packet.
I think it's the 17th.
The 17th to get that in, yes. Corey Greenlee, who's a teacher over at Dale Castle, is the chairperson for that scholarship. So we want those scholarships to be turned in. Okay. And have that opportunity to receive that $1,000. And times is pretty tough. We've been in school where we didn't have a lot to eat there, so that little bit of money could go a long way. So we hope that they will turn those scholarships in. This week is the deadline to have it in.
Thanks, Rob. I hope the Money Club continue to do the things that they're doing in the community and impacting the community. And if any parents or any community, corporate community, or anybody, stakeholders in the community, if anybody want to contribute to the scholarship fund, how do they do that?
Well, they can contact the Monday Club. Again, it's 652-9755. You can also go to our website, which is themondayclub.org. And it gives you everything, the whole history of the Monday Club. You can find out about the scholarship part of that, and what we do as members, as far as the community go. So they can always go to that themondayclub.org and check out our website. But for the immediate, contact the Monday Club at 652-9755, and we will get your information and get back to you if you want to help us out. Okay,
thank you, Rob. We're going to go to a break, and we'll be right back. But I want you to hang around for the last segment, because I want to have a segment where it's going to be, I call it opinions and questions and answers. There's no right and no wrong, but I'd just like to hear your thoughts and the other guests' thoughts about what I'm going to be asking.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. With me, I have Steve Washington from Norfolk State University Alumni Association. And, being a Delaware State University alumni here, and I was telling Steve, if you ain't got that sting, it don't mean a thing. And me being the host, I can just pick on him all day long. But Steve is here to share some information that I think would be very important for the audience and the community here as it relates to him trying to help the city to be a better place for our youth and teens. Is that about right, Steve?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so Steve, you have it.
Well, first of all, let me say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. God bless you. God keep you. We're Norfolk State University Alumni Association, Delaware Chapter Incorporated. We're brand new to the state of Delaware, the city of Wilmington, and we're here to bridge the gap with HBCU schools,
Okay.
colleges, or HBCU schools, and the MEAC as well. One of the things that we're going to do next week to bridge the gap is we're going to have a Norfolk State sponsor cookout walk.
Okay.
And that cookout walk is going to be down at this Saturday, May the 18th, and it's at the Glasgow Park off of Route 40 in Bear. And all are invited. Okay, and basically what we want to do, we want to just get out there and let you all know who we are, and let the city and the state know who we are, and we just want to network with other colleges and universities, where we could just do something in the community to keep our kids off the streets and out of trouble, because a lot of times today they're not getting, or they're not being given the opportunity to attend the college or university. And those that are, and God bless the ones that are making the straight A's, some of them overlook HBCU schools today. And today we need to really bridge that gap and make a presence, not just Norfolk State University, not just Dell State University, but on the whole, as far as the HBCU schools. So I think we should, or one of the things I like to see happen is that we band together and just create an HBCU Delaware Alliance.
So how would you go about doing that, or implementing that?
Well, one of the things I would like to do first is network with different colleges and university alumni chapters. I thank God for Ned Brown for allowing me to sit in on his meetings prior to us becoming a chapter. I thank God for Mr. Moffitt for inviting us to come to Cheney State meetings. And one of the things that we're doing, we're inviting everyone out next week down at Glasgow Park beginning at 10 o'clock, and we're going to probably go until 3. So we're going to do some walking, we're going to do some talking, and we're going to eat. So and if you care to donate to help us build a scholarship fund, that would be great. If not, that's fine as well. But we just want to network and bridge that gap, and bring the HBCU schools here. Because one of the things that I've observed, because I represent Norfolk State at our college fairs that we have here in Delaware, and I don't see much representation of HBCU schools. I see Dell State. Sometime I may see Lincoln or Morgan State, but I don't see us on the whole. And in the city, in this community, we definitely need to make a presence, because there are so many HBCU school alumni members here in Delaware, and in the city of Wilmington. We have to band together to make a change.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess how do you go about, do you call the presidents of each university, HBC schools, alumni chapters presidents, and trying to come together as a whole and do some brainstorming on how can we be more visible and more inviting to the potential minority kids that's going to HBCU schools?
Well, definitely. One of the things I like to see, like next week, like if you have the time, just come on out next Saturday at 10 o'clock, and we could talk about different ideas that we may have. I have a lot of ideas with the HBCU schools where we can come together. And one of the things I'm doing, I'm inviting you all, HBCU presidents and or chapter members, to contact me. And you could contact me, Steve Wash at Comcast.net. And my telephone number is area code 302-602-5149. If you can't contact me there, you can also give us send me some information through the mail. Our post office box is NSUAA Delaware Chapter Incorporated, and the post office box is 11371 Wilmington, Delaware 19850. So come and join us. It's a dire need for us to come together. And a lot of times our C+ students work very hard to get scholarships but their grades aren't that high. Well, we're trying to bring scholarships for those students as well.
Okay.
Because I do understand that students make the best teachers. I'm not sure, but but this is what I hear.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just thinking, I know we're concentrating on trying to expose our young folks the experience about college and how to get in college, but I think one thing is important that I'm finding out right now is that some of the youngsters are applying to school and they may have the grade point average, but they're not meeting the standards as it relates to the SATs. So if you could just elaborate on the importance of not just having a great or a good GPA, but also the SAT scores is very important.
That's a true point. Practice doesn't make you perfect, however, it does enhance perfection. So it is important that all seniors, juniors, sophomores practice taking the test, learn test-taking strategies. The more you take a test, the better you become at taking the test. I'm a firm believer of that because of the practice exam. I have taken it many times prior to me becoming certified. However, if you practice and practice the right way, you're going to have success in it. Okay. And don't get me wrong, success is built in levels. It's not going to all happen overnight.
Right.
Okay. So basically practicing. We're in fact, the chapter, one of the things that we like to do in the city of Wilmington is to come up with a network where we can actually have a tutorial session where we can work with students on test-taking strategies.
Okay.
And like I like to collaborate with other colleges and universities, HBCU schools here, so we can build that alliance where we can focus on our kids and their strengths and weaknesses.
Okay. If you just want to give that number out one more time, because what we want to do is bring our final guests on, and I would like to bring Steve back and Rob back, and I have some questions that to ask you guys, just get your opinions and your thoughts and your feelings about what's going on in the community.
Excellent. Okay. You can contact me at stevewash@comcast.net, at stevewash@comcast.net, and telephone number is area code 302-602-5149. That's area code 302-602-5149.
Thank you. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with our final guest, and then we will have all the guests to come back on. Thank you. Again, happy Mother's Day, and our guest with us right now is Linwood Jackson. He's a radio and TV talk show host and the Vice President of NAACP in the Wilmington branch. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, and because I know when we talked on the phone, you hit a lot of things that you wanted to share with the audience.
Well, that's right. Thanks a lot for having me on the show, as a matter of fact. And you know, you have a wonderful guest today, and they're all seem to be talking about the issue of education in our community. We all know how important that is to educate our #1 resource, which is our children. And so I did want to come on and talk about a little bit about the importance of getting out and voting. You know, we have a 60% high school dropout rate in the city of Wilmington. We have the third highest homicide rate for a city its size in the country. And we need to address these issues. Also, in the news here lately, you might be familiar with the fact that the Red Clay or the Christina School District was charged by the Department of Education Civil Rights Division with discriminating against our kids in regards to disciplinary actions. Kicking them out of school with suspensions and this sort of stuff. So we want to address that, and we can do that by going out and voting on May 14th, because the Red Clay Consolidated School District is having their board elections, and we need everybody to get out there and do something about that board, those directors out there that's messing up there. They have a lot of decisions to make in regards to our kids in their school, and apparently they're not doing the best they can do in regards to our kids. So we might need to replace them.
So what kind of support do you need from the community and the parents?
Well, number one, right off the bat, like I said, May 14th, that's this Tuesday, they need to go out and vote and get some board members on those boards, those school boards, that's going to work for the betterment of our kids and keeping them in school and off of those streets. There are other dynamics involved with keeping our kids out of school. Another one, for an example, is that they are allowed to quit school in the 10th grade or at 16 years old. That's a law. You know, there's some good laws and there's some bad laws.
Yeah.
And one of the good laws is we as parents, we had to put them in school in the first grade, and we had to support them, keep them there, clothe them, and help them with the homework, so forth and so on. That's a good law. Mm-hmm. But the bad one comes in when when they come home, they turn 16 years old or in 10th grade, they can come home and say, Mom, Dad, well, guess what? I quit. I don't want to go to school no more. And we think that that age is just too young for kids to make a decision like that. And so we want to change that law.
Well, I totally agree, because, I mean, you're still a child, so, I mean, and how can you be 16 years old and be allowed to make those kind of decisions, which those decisions is going to affect you in the next 10 to 15 and 25 years?
Well, it's going to affect their whole life. They can't get decent jobs. They just go back to the streets and cause havoc, and that's what we see in our streets today. Nothing to do with making babies, can't support the babies because they're out of school. That's why it behooves each and every one of us to get out there and take action. This is things that we can change. We can get out and vote, get some school board members on the boards that's going to work for keeping our kids and educating them. And we can also work towards changing that law. I would ask your viewers to call their state representatives, their senators, and their city council members, and express your concern and to them, and that you support those actions.
What are the qualifications, or what is the process of coming on the boards or the school boards? I mean, what's the process and what's the qualifications?
Well, they're running. If you have a desire to be on the school board, then you put your name in the hat and you run for that office, and then you get your name on the ticket, and then the voters of those respective school districts go out and vote on who they want to represent.
You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to have a college degree.
I don't
you have
think
to graduate
so, no.
from. Okay.
No,
wow.
Not necessarily,
Wow.
no.
Okay.
And it's just like politicians.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, some people think that the school board elections should be on the national elections when they're voting for your senators and all the rest of them. But
That's not a bad idea.
But then you have everybody out at one time. You get to vote, because low voter turnout is what our problem is.
Okay.
There's not enough people out there voting on the national elections, or let alone the school board elections. So that's the number one. And I tell you, it's very important. For example, I mentioned earlier that the Department of Education's Civil Rights Division came down here to Delaware on our City Councilman Jay Street's request, and found that they were guilty of discriminating against our kids. I mean, to this day,
when you say discriminate, can you be a little bit more in
regards,
detail in regards to
the disciplinary actions?
Okay.
In other words, African American and kids of color act up in school or whatever and doing the same thing that other kids are doing, and they kick our kids out.
Okay.
Now our kids are out in the street and they're falling behind on their grades. And so we can change that. And now Governor Jack Markell, by the way, did a great job in bringing Race to the Top monies down here to fix our school system.
Okay.
And the 2.3 million of those dollars was to go towards retaining the high qualified teachers that were doing a great job in our underserving schools, and to keep them there. You see, it's hard keeping good teachers in these tough schools. And so a lot of that money, Jack Markell and his administration allotted to go towards that. And the Christina School District, for an example, they don't want that. Even though they signed on the bill, they agreed to do that. They changed their mind at the last minute. They prefer to have the money be divided amongst all the teachers, to include the teachers that aren't working on the better half of our students. And kicking them out of school for crazy stuff is just not the answer.
Not to cut you off, but I have a question for you, just your opinion and your thoughts about it, is because when you're talking about that, the kids, the disciplinary piece, and the kids are getting kicked out, where is the parents' role in this?
Oh, well,
because we can easily sit back here and say it's the teachers, it's the school system, and we could blame it on 4 or 5 other things, which some of it may be valid. I don't know. But I do know that if the parents are involved and engaged in the kids' education or life or extracurricular activities, the parents play a key role. We can always blame everybody. The parents have to take some accountability for this.
You're absolutely right. Everybody has to take responsibility. Pushing the blame on the next guy is just not the answer. We all have to take responsibility for educating our kids. The parents, the teachers, the politicians can change the law. Like I said, we're just pulling our pen out and changing that law. Now they're staying in school, and it's up to us as parents, and everybody has to come on board, to include the kids themselves. The students themselves have to take responsibility and learn. When the teacher's in front of them trying to teach them something, their job is to sit there and try to grasp it, go home and do their homework, and get through school so that they can get a decent job and go somewhere with their lives, take care of and support their families. It's a reason why single parent households being run by a lot of single ladies. And by the way, I want to say happy Mother's Day to especially you single mothers out there raising your kids on your own, because it's so hard, to get jobs with our kids out there in the streets. So you're absolutely right. Everybody has to take a role and play a role in educating our kids, because it behooves the whole society. We all are affected by uneducated anybody. We can all, the whole country rises when we have an educated.
I want you to hold that thought, because we're going to take a break and we're going to bring Rob back and Steve back. And because some of the questions that I would like your opinions and y'all thoughts about these questions feeds right into what you're saying. So we're going to take a break and come right back and get everybody here. Again, welcome back. This is the segment of the show where I would like to have my guests to share their feelings and their thoughts about some questions that I would like to ask them. And you can answer, it doesn't make a difference in what order, just jump in when you feel like it. But one of the questions is what would you do to help decrease or eliminate the school dropout rate, which is about 65%, which if you round it off, it's almost out of every 10 kids, 7 are dropping out. So anybody?
One of the things that I think has to happen, and as you said, everybody has a stake in this game. They're not getting at 16 and saying, I'm going out the door. Something's been building to that point. And I think about when we was coming through, I was a product of the neighborhood house. We had a place to go every night, 5 days a week over there. It was the only time they was closed on the weekends. And we went there from not only just to socialize, but we went there for tutoring support, how to work with our neighbors, how to deal with our friends, their parents. And then, yes, it was a more tight-knit community back then compared to now. But we had everybody involved in there from Marvin Thomas. I can remember him screaming at me, talking about, you better be getting your books done.
Right.
Or Miss White over there. Everyone had a stake in my game, and that helped me tremendously. So when I left the elementary school and went to Bancroft, then you had the Mr. Elsies and Mr. Lewises and Mr. Burks over there that jumped right on us again and kept us. So, the process. Then when you went to high school, you still had another group, the Mr. DeSazers and all of them was on us.
And we all had them in our community, throughout the city of Wilmington.
And that became a stake in the game. It cannot be, a youngster should not just walk up at 16 and say I'm done.
Right.
That don't happen.
Right.
Somebody know this is going on.
Right. Before they even get there, Rob.
Before they get there.
Yes.
And we have got to be able to identify those youngsters, even the community. Like you said, and keep. So I should talk about the HBU groups getting together. It's kids out there that want to go to school or want to go to the next level, even if it's not the school, the trade school.
Right.
But they have to be able to be exposed to that and talk to about that to be able to make that happen.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. I agree 100%. And I would like to see talking about identifying these behaviors. It is studies that show that by the time the kid goes, the first grade and the second grade, then once they fall behind, they're behind. And you can almost bet that they're going straight to jail, actually. They end up quitting because they can't catch up. So I'd like to see some systems in place that identifies these kids early in the first, second grade. Like, for an example, I got a call the other day. Young lady was telling me, she said, Linwood, my grandkid is a brilliant child, and he's bouncing all over the place. He's in school, all the kids are sitting still. He's all over the place because he just, he's a brilliant kid. And she says, and his mother has attention deficit disorder.
Okay.
And his father has issues as well. So I'm thinking, well, maybe this kid, when they stick out like a green thumb in that regard, then he needs to be taken aside and identified, and maybe see a mental health counselor who can help these kids and identify their issues and keep them there, because once they fall behind at the third grade on, it's just almost impossible to get caught up. So I agree. We need systems in place.
I'm thinking that because of the highly qualified and because of all these assessments and or tests that they're giving kids, they're not looking at the success rate. Everything's based upon success and failure, but success is based in levels, as I said earlier. I mean, just like a kid in a classroom, he may be acting out, but if I can get that kid just to raise his hand prior to speaking out in class, that's one level of success that kid has had.
Small victories, small steps.
And one thing that we're not doing on the whole, because we're so worried about accountability, we start worrying about our jobs and not worrying about loving that kid.
Right.
If that child or student doesn't experience and feel love at home, and then he goes to school and he's not getting love, there's no way he's going to be successful. When we're teaching kids, we need to begin, on the whole, to start telling them this is why this is important. You're going to use this in your life. We tend to
see, this is where I'm at as it relates to education, is that if we want to change this process, we have to start with the kids in the kindergarten, the first grade,
Right, foundation.
second grade, and third grades, because this is a long, long process. Now, I'm not saying just forget about the ones in the 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th, 12th grade. You know, have some alternative, like a trade school if they don't want to do that. You know what I mean? But you have to start young. And 5 years from now, and 7 years now, you will see a difference. You will see that dropout rate drop. But we have to start now. But stay there. I want to move to this next question, because I want to make sure we get them in, because I know we will have some closing remarks. Now we know that old saying that it takes a village to raise a child. So my question to you guys: how would you get the corporate community, the stakeholders in the community agencies, the churches, and the teens and the youth to collaborate to address the high crime and the drug-related activities?
Yes,
And
that's a tough one.
That is a tough one. You know, one of the things that has to happen, though, we do have in our neighborhoods and in our communities working people. And what we have to do is, you know, we have to understand this. Everyone has a stake in the game. Right. It's not just, hey, do you have the degree? Did you go off to college? No, I got friends that's long distance truck drivers that can teach just about anything to anybody. You know what I mean? We have to be able to pull all those resources in and be able to, you know, put this together. I know, listen, what's that? You see something, say something deal, so we don't, have these communities deteriorate like that, but everyone has to speak up.
We got 5 minutes, so please somebody else elaborate on that, because again, I don't know why it's so hard. You know, like I said, the community, the stakeholders, the churches
Can't
bring
have that.
together.
Because
so we ain't got much time.
I actually think it's a mindset that's built and ingrained throughout our history, personally, and we need to break that mindset and that whole train of thought. You know, divide and conquer. They have us divided since slavery days, and which wasn't that long ago. And my personal feelings on that is that, you know, they got us divided and conquered, so it's hard now to get us back together to work as one in order to get some things done. But I do want to commend the brothers you have on here with me. Steve is trying to get the colleges together, the alumni to get together. I know I'm a member of the Monday Club. I know they've been doing miraculous work throughout the years. And I'm with the NACP right now, and I know they're doing fabulous work as well. So bringing the organization together, I think is the mindset is there, and we need to break that and just come together. We need to teach it early in school. Somebody said something earlier about catching the kids early. I think we had to catch them in the womb, personally. My man was saying something about showing love to these kids. A mother reading to her infant in the womb.
I did that to my daughter.
And your daughter, I understand, is going to college. I want to commend you and her and congratulate you and her. That's what we need. And they offer the scholarship monies available through these organizations. That's a great thing. All of those go towards solving this problem that we're having in our communities.
Quickly.
And one thing that I think that will help us is that if we band together and bring the church community together, and the churches go out into the community to show these kids love. Because we, as churches, we just have our church, and it should be the body of God, basically. So we all, as the churches in the community, need to band together and go out in that community.
And that's why I said, you know, when you bring in the corporate community, and then you bring in the stakeholders, and you bring in those agencies and the churches and the team, you know, that's a hard task. But who said it was going to be easy? But I think for us to move forward to address some of these concerns, that's what we're going to have to do. Before we go, I know we have like 2 minutes to go. And first of all, I want to thank every one of you guys for a fantastic and coming here. I know you're busy, but to take your time to come here and just to share your thoughts and your feelings and to continue to make a difference in the city of Wilmington, I just want to thank you.
Hey, Jack, we thank you. I thank you for bringing us on. I didn't ask you. I hope you're going to bring you and your wonderful wife to the Monday Club Ball June 15th. I expect you to get a ticket from us, and
being a place, I know that's a small price for you to pay for you and your wife, I'm sure. You like to have a good time with her and take her out and let her know how much you love her. Wouldn't you, Mr. Booker?
It's sure you're right,
There
Rob.
you go. Thank you,
Put me
sir.
on the spot. Before we go, and we have closing remarks. We have 2 minutes, so I know Linwood, you want to something to say something. I don't know if Rob and Steve want to say something. Go ahead.
Today on From the Heart, Harmon Carey came on and he offered 2 tickets to the J. Caldwell Gospel Roast and birthday celebrations to the first 2 callers who answered the question that he gave. And nobody called in and gave the answer, but the answer is the first black city councilman was Thomas Pedestal. That is Postles. Nobody got that right. The second answer to the question was he lived at 905 Wilson Street, Wilmington, Delaware. So since nobody got the correct answer, he's saying the first 2 callers that called him at 302-562-4718 gets those 2 tickets.
Rob, anything?
Hey, I just want to reiterate to
Got 1 minute.
those recipients or possible recipients for those scholarship applications to get that application in this week to Mr. Greenlee, and we will definitely hope to try to get you some money for college.
Just look at the past as being history. Tomorrow's a mystery, but the day's a gift. That's why we're here in the present.
And the only thing that I want to say is the last thing is Happy Mother Day to all the mothers
Happy Mother's
and
Day.
the grandmothers out there.
Happy Mother's
And Happy Mother Day, baby, my wife and my mother-in-law and my daughter, and to all the mothers there, Happy Mother's Day.
Happy
From
Mother's
the brothers
Day.
to the
Thank you.
mothers.
To the
There you
brothers,
So
to
the
the
brothers to the
mothers.
mothers.
All right, all right.
Great job, Jack.
Thank you, thank you.